Hi, everybody. Mr. Morris. I want to talk to you this week about the people involved, the leaders of the countries involved in World War II. And there were two sides. There were the Allies and the Axis. The Allies are the people who are the countries who were fighting on the side of the United States against the enemy, which was the Axis. So let's jump in and talk about who these people were. Well, Europe on the eve of World War II in 1939. So before it officially became a world war on the eve, who is involved? Well, here are the Allies. The Allies are Britain, which we know as England, France, okay, England, France, Poland over here, and you can see it's kind of bookmarking Germany. Germany is here in the middle between France and Poland, Belgium, and then the other European countries, okay? Notice we haven't mentioned Italy, okay? We have not yet mentioned Italy. We will in a minute. The Commonwealth, that means outside of Europe, which is Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, and the other countries, including the British Empire, as far as India. So we are not in the war yet, as far as the United States, but you can add the United States to the Allies as well. And then you have the Soviet Union that joined, which is this large area here that joined in 1941 along with the United States of America as we became a united Europe against Germany, Italy, and Japan. And speaking of which, the Axis powers, the enemy, Germany, right here, Italy, which is this area here in light pink, and Japan, which you cannot see on this map. These are the Axis powers. So let's jump into who is who. The Allies. Okay, we're talking about England, and the first part was Neville Chamberlain. Neville Chamberlain was the Prime Minister of Great Britain until 1939 at the start of World War II. He was old and he lost kind of a lot of people lost faith in him and didn't know if he was the one to lead them through this big war. But he had been previously the Prime Minister during a non wartime England. And then that brings us to this guy, Winston Churchill, who would then take over and be the Prime Minister during World War II. Now we look at France. And with France, we're talking about their president, Charles de Gaulle. And he led France during the time when Germany invaded France and literally took over. We'll be talking more about that another time when France was basically part, for a little while, part German and part French, and then eventually becoming all German. We're looking to this guy here, Joseph Stalin, who was the communist dictator of Russia, who joined in 1941. I'm sorry, let me go back. And later, during World War II, the United States hadn't quite figured it out yet, but they would soon after, that our real enemy was Russia. That would lead to something called the Cold War that started immediately at the end of World War II, in which the United States and Russia, who were allies, but even during World War II, they supported each other but did not trust each other. We're looking here at Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the President of the United States. He was a president for a very long time. He was a four-term president from 1933 to 1945, and he died. He died in office, not yet at the completion of the war, which brings us to our second president to finish the war, Harry S. Truman. And he was president and the one that agreed to drop the atomic bomb on Japan, actually two of them, and thus would end the Japanese involvement. But more on that in a different week. Taking a look at the enemy, Adolf Hitler, of course, for Germany. And Adolf Hitler was a dictator who planned to take over the reins of all of Europe. He wanted to be the dictator or leader of all of Europe. But he needed help. You can't do all that by yourself. So who did he turn to? He turned to Benito Mussolini in Italy. Benito Mussolini was the prime minister or leader from 1922 to 1943. And he was a fascist. He also believed in one supreme power. And he joined Germany because he realized you could not defeat Germany. It's easier to join your enemy than fight them. So now we have the two powers of Germany and Italy. And finally, we have our last part here, Hideki Tojo, who was the prime minister of Japan during the war, and they joined because they had hatred for China and several other countries. And again, they joined the big bully, who they felt that if they joined with Germany and they joined with Italy, the three of them together could squeeze out whatever the Allies had going for them. And so the three of them got together to take on the rest of the sovereign nations and countries of the world in World War II. So we are going to be getting into this and talking further about it. And I look forward to, well, you guys being involved in this for the rest of the week, talking about the leaders. There's going to be some films and a little bit more in depth information. And then throughout, of course, this class, you'll be learning about weapons and key wars, and finally, the end of the battles and the end of World War II. All right, talk to you guys again next time.